Good evening, my name is Jacob Folger and I'm a sculptor and an artist, and here on my channel I show people what I do so that they can carry it on and do it themselves, and it's a lot of fun. Tonight we're going to make a gargoyle, and so we're going to be working in polymer clay, and this is some polymer clay here that we'll work with. It's actually black, and the reason why is because I tend to, the finishes I do, I like working with black as the base color for my finishes, and it just happens to look better, so I use a lot of black clay, but polymer clay comes in a bunch of colors, and so you can pick what you want. But I'm going to show you how I do one of my bronze finishes on this gargoyle when you complete it. The brand I prefer is Sculpt. This is the packaging here. Sculpt 3. Number 3, right there. Very important because I've tried a lot of different clays, and really polymer clays, and really Sculpt 3 is the best I found. It costs about $10 to $15 for a pound. It also comes in 2-ounce packages, and it's pretty easy to work with. I like it. You do have to knead it when you start, before you start. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just basically squeezing it in my hands, getting it nice and soft and pliable. And I think first we're going to start with the body of the gargoyle. So I just want to start with getting the kneading done. Then I'm going to roll it into a ball. There we go. And then I'm just going to roll it. If I roll it in my hands like this a little bit, it kind of creates what would look like maybe the lower end of the body, bringing it up to the neck. Okay. And I'll just bring him over like that a little bit. And I'm actually picturing in my head the Guardian gargoyle, which was a gargoyle I did back in the 90s, early 90s. And he was 14 inches tall with a 2-foot wingspan. Quite a gargoyle. And in fact, that gargoyle, I was advertising for it in the city paper here in Washington, D.C., where I live, and the editors of the Washington Post saw it, and they did an article on me titled "Being Beastly, Local Artist or Local Sculptor Finds His Niche Making Gargoyles." It was quite a thing, let me tell you. Anyways, so we got this kind of shape for the body started, and now I'm kind of creating, I want to create the head, because that's going to be the most important, one of the most important parts of this piece. So let's move this out of the way. I just wanted to make sure it fits and that it's about the right size. Okay. So then I have a monster that I did a while ago. This is just a clay monster, but I just want to kind of pull from that a little bit. And that's just that piece is actually done in self-hardening clay. So I always tell people that it's probably a good idea, if you can, to get online and look at pictures of gargoyles. So what I'm doing is I'm just pulling a little bit the face out. I'm kind of pinching the clay and just pulling a little bit to bring out the nose. And then I'm going to take my thumbs and I'm just going to push inwards a little bit. If you can see that, now you can see the outlines for the eyes. And sometimes, actually, it's really a nice idea to get the eyes going first and work your piece around it. So we'll do that. So what I can do here is I'll take this little sculpting tool. By the way, we'll talk about that for a minute. You can get a package of maybe 9 or 10 of assorted tools in wood or plastic. Either one is fine. I only use these two different kinds here, and these two that I have here I've been using for many years, and I just like the shapes. They work really fine for me. I mostly use my hands, but when I need tools I have them. And I'm just going to press into the clay here with the back of this tool here to create eye sockets like that. And then what I'll do is I'll take 2 small balls of clay that will be the eyeballs. Just want to try to make them the same size. I have students ask me from time to time, like, how do you get the ears to be the same size? Actually, that's a little big. Well, you start with 2 balls the same size. So this, I think, will be about right here. So I got the 1 ball there, and if you make another one about the same size, it looks good. Looks good. Okay, so I just wanted to go down in there like that. And like that. Okay. Now what you can do is you can use another tool, which would be actually a paintbrush, and you can have different size paintbrushes, but I do use these a lot for eyes. And you use the back of the paintbrush and just put in an indentation for the pupil of the eye on both sides. Just try to get them both looking at you, and that's not too hard, and you go straight in. Okay, so next we want to do the eyelids and get them started. And basically what we do there is always when we pull a piece of clay off the block, we want to knead it a little bit, and then put it on. Right now he's looking really friendly. I don't want him to look friendly, and the reason why is I have a friend, and I always say where he lives because I think it's kind of neat. He lives in Romania, and we Skype on the computer every night for a couple hours and just hang out together. And actually him and his girlfriend and me, his girlfriend is Gabriella, and actually the way we met, the way Daniel and I met was through one of my videos on how to make a gargoyle. I actually have a couple more videos like that on my channel, and that's how we met. He actually responded and said he was grateful for the video because I do make it look fairly easy. I mean, it's still going to take work, but he said that a lot of people that make videos for that sort of thing, it looks so hard, he said. So I don't really know because I actually haven't watched too many of those videos myself. Okay, so we've got the eye started. Now this other tool, I really like the shape of this one here, because it's really good for eyes. And I'm just gonna push up on the eyelid a little bit to make it more even with the other one. Well, anyways, as I was saying about Makoto, or his nickname is Makoto, Daniel, he likes really mean looking gargoyles, so that's what I'm trying for, because tomorrow I'm going to send him this gargoyle. I want to make it as mean as possible, so I'm going to give it a shot. We'll see if that will work out. Now I'm going to take another noodle of clay about like that, and I'm going to put it here so we have the eyelids, so I'm going to take it here and put it at an angle going down. Actually, let me see if I can move it a little bit further down. There we go. And let's see what we can do here. And so we're going to roll the other one and put it on. You do want to blending is a big thing that I do, and that's what I did here with the, I just want to show you real quick with the eyelids, is when I put the eyelids in, I blended them into the head. So we've got this here, this is kind of the eyebrows. If they're pointed down like that, an angle, it's going to create more of more dramatic face. And I don't want to blend too much, but I definitely want to make sure they're on there really good so that they don't fall off later. And he doesn't look particularly mean yet. We'll just keep working. I'm going to take another another noodle of clay here, and just add some depth and interest to that forehead by putting it right about there and bringing it up, and then I'll blend that into the back of the head there like that. Okay. And another one then would go next to that. Now I'm going to take this one, which has a sharper, it's just sharp, a little bit sharper than the other one, a little bit more cut on it. I'm just going to cut that in there a little bit, and then here as well, which will strengthen the bond to the head a little bit too. Now I think I want to cut this here a little bit to create a little bit more depth in the face around the eye. Just putting a little line in there. And I want to add a little bit of maybe lines under his eye as well, kind of just adding a little bit more character, and hopefully working on trying to get him a little bit meaner. But you know, sometimes it just doesn't work with me. I have trouble, just like anybody else, to you know, achieve exactly what I would like, but unfortunately, you know, it doesn't always work that way. But you know, Gargoyle making it anything else, it takes practice. Now, okay, I want to add cheekbones a little bit. I'll just take a ball of clay and put that right there, and press it into place with my thumb, but also blending a little bit. Do the other side here. Always, again, you know, kneading as you go, as you pull a piece off the block. Go ahead and try to knead that and make it soft, pliable. Also, when you're joining it to other parts of the to the head and that sort of thing, of the body, it will make it it'll make it bond better, so that's important. Okay, so we're going to take a paintbrush, and I'm just going to put in a nostril, and a nostril here. And actually that kind of works a little bit for the meanness. Especially if you flare it out a little bit, pressing up on it towards the eyes. And then I can add maybe some wrinkles here. Like that. And then I'm going to start working on the mouth, and so what I'll do here, I think, let's see what we do. Going to press up here. I'm actually trying to establish the mouth. I'm not going to make it quite yet. I'm going to establish the upper jaw. I'll just take this off here because I don't really need it. Now I'm going to pull out on the lips a little bit, like that, and then I'm going to turn them up a little bit like that. And then now I'll add the lower jaw. Just see how that's going to look. Just press that into place there. I don't really want it blended at the sides because I want that to be almost separate in a way from the upper jaw. Well, he doesn't look real mean yet, unfortunately, but you know what? I think Makoto will like him anyways. Okay, so we got started on that, which is good because now we can stick it on the body and start moving along here. So what I'm going to do when I stick these two parts together, I don't always do this, I haven't done it all along, but I want to make sure the head stays on the body. Set the head there for a minute, and I'm just going to score the top of the neck here, and that's just going to make that head stick a lot better, join a lot better, and then I'm going to do it on here as well. I think he's actually pretty cool. I like him. I like his face, but I'm not sure he looks so mean. You guys may feel differently. All right, so now I'm just gonna. I don't want to press too hard on his head because he's. I don't want to mess up his face that I just worked so hard on. So I'm basically trying to draw the body onto the head, as you can see, by just blending and squeezing and that sort of thing. All right. Okay, there we go. I'm going to build up some clay around that head because I want this to be a little thicker here. I don't really want him to have that skinny neck. And so I'm just going to build it by adding clay there. So we're doing all kinds of things here. We're doing a lot of sculpting with our hands. We're adding clay. We're carving a little bit with the tools. I mean, it basically takes all of that. But you're going to see by watching this, you're going to see how I basically do it. Then you're going to do it yourself. I hope you are. And then whatever you make is probably not going to look quite like what I made, but it's going to be a start. It's going to take you, depending on how far you want to go, to make really cool gargoyles, if you're willing. But you got to be willing, of course. Okay, so. So now I want to get his front leg started. So we'll take, come back out of the way for a minute, and we'll need 2 pieces of clay. Here. Okay. That still can work on his face a little bit. Just some more work on that. I still have to do his ears. So I've got 2 pieces of clay about the same size here. And then what I'm going to do is roll them like that. And then I'm going to put him up high a little bit like that, so we can kind of get his shoulders into the action here. So he's got kind of a interesting, his shoulders are kind of high up around his head. Roll the other one. Create a little noodle here, and then also right about here. with the shoulders kind of high up there like that. And then you can blend this in. And you can pinch here to create, muscles and definition for the elbows and for the what I guess you would refer to as biceps. He doesn't really have the same anatomy as a human, I don't guess, but oh well, we'll just go with that. And that gives a little bit of definition there. And then I'm bringing his feet together a little bit here, at least for now. And I'm going to sink his head a little bit lower, like that. Yeah. And then I'm going to get 2 balls of clay, or 2 pieces of clay, and I want to create now his back hips. He's going to be in basically a sitting position. So then I can roll these into 2 balls and make sure I have the same size. I think this second one's a little low. It's a little small, maybe. Yep. So whenever you're doing ears, or whenever you're doing hips or legs or eyeballs or anything where you need 2 the same size, before you start with 2 balls the same size. So we're going to press those flat and press them in here to create the hips. Blend them in at the back, like that. And just keep blending this as we go now. Now it's going to be a little rough, so at least at this point, so don't worry about that. You can always smooth it later. Smoothing is best done with your hands. Some people like to smooth with tools, but you're going to find out that the human hand and the fingers are really the best tools you've got. So I'm going to create the back feet. So I'm basically going to create 2 oblong shapes. Again, going for the same size so that they don't look too funny. So there we go. And just place those into there. A couple of things when you're working on this, since you're picking it up a lot, you shouldn't have a problem with it sticking too much to your surface. But you do definitely want to move it around. And I don't, in this case, when you have to pick it up a lot to work on it, I mean, you could try to mount it somewhere on a board or another piece of clay or something, but I don't know that I would do that, because you definitely want to be able to get at it, and the best way to get at it is to pick it up. Okay. So now I'm just going to pinch down a little bit here to create some definition for his front feet. And when I did that, it actually created some lines for his front forearms that could be fairly muscular. There we go. I want you to know, by the way, this is about my second or third video with my new camera, which is a GoPro. It's the type of camera that actually can wear on a helmet and tape yourself riding on skateboards or skydiving or whatever. And I hope to be doing some videos, maybe not quite as adventurous, but getting out and videotaping some things that I do outside later on. But I bought the camera and on sale, and I said, well, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get this camera because I think it'll be cool, pretty cool. Alright, so there we go. We got his body going here. I'm going to go ahead and put his tail on. And I'm going to start working now on more details to just make this a really interesting gargoyle. And so I need the clay here. I want a little bit more because I want this tail to be fairly decent, give it some decent presence, part of this creation. I'm rolling a noodle to make that tail after I kneaded it. Longer. There we go. It's fairly good there. Now what I'm going to do is put it on the back here. See what I mean? You know, it's nice to be able to pick it up. If you have it mounted somehow, or on a board, in this case, with this type of clay, it's probably better to just give yourself free access to it. Okay, so I'm pulling it around now. I'm keeping an eye on it. I don't want it to be flat on one end or flat on one side or something like that. And I'm just going to bring it around to the front here, like that. And I'm going to have it going up that way, kind of crossed over his front legs. There we go. And we'll do some more work on that in a little bit. I'm going to do some work on his back. So what I'm going to do, that's why I put the tail on there. I want to do some scales on him. So let's see how I'm going to do this. I'm not quite sure. I think what I'm going to start out with just little balls. And then I'm going to roll them to be like that. And then I'm going to flatten them and put them on like that. And I'm going to take it right up to the top there. So he's going to be, the original dragon, or guardian gargoyle, was that design. He was more of a, he was like a cross between a dragon and a gargoyle. I'll probably put some pictures here on the video, but I don't have a lot left, unfortunately, so I don't have a lot to offer in that way. And so I'm just rolling these little shapes and then flattening them a little bit, and then applying them, and then blending them up here into the body. And also, I think I'm going to go ahead and put wings on it too. So we have the whole ball of wax. So this won't take that long, but I may speed up the film. So we got the get some scales on them, got a tail on them, and now we're going to make some wings. So we need to knead 2 pieces of clay. That are about the same size. Start off with rolling 2 balls that are the same size. That's how we really see. I mean, you can't really tell with chunks of clay. Wow, I'm pretty good on it. Look at that. So 2 the same size. Then we roll this to a cone shape like this, like that, and then press it. And when you're pressing it, if you press it so that it's it's got a little of a space up here. We can make the wings more bat-like, I think. And then we'll make the other wing because we want them to be close to the same, right? So we've got that piece that's about that big, and then we squeeze it down, holding our thumb below the top about a 1/4 inch. Okay. Actually, I made both of these. I'm going to start this one over because I wasn't doing it for the other side. I was doing it. Okay. So now we're going to press it like this here. So this will have 2 wings opposite of each other. And then we'll put these wings, we're going to score first, remember that? I'm going to put them on his shoulders. One benefit of having his shoulders high up like that, and we'll put the wings like that onto his shoulders. Okay, score the other side. And the wing itself. Let's just make sure the bond is good. And like that. About the same size. I'm going to bring him down a little bit like this. And then I'll probably tell you later when we cook him, that we don't want the wings to fall to move down when it's being cooked. So it may be a good idea to take some kind of object that's not going to melt in the oven. Could be anything really that you can find. Could be 2 glass salt shakers. You might do it, or something like that. And just don't push them up. Don't push the wings up when you put that down there. But just make it just sitting there so that if they drop a little bit, that they won't actually fall when you're cooking. Because sometimes it does that. This clay gets really, really soft when it's cooking, before it gets hard. So that's why I say that. I've had some pieces drop like that before. It's very frustrating. So with that said, now you know. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this in, kind of bond it a little bit back to the and you can position the wings any way you like. Just remember to do some kind of support on them when you're cooking it. Now I'm going to throw on some ears, and what I do again is I roll 2 balls of clay. See that? Okay, this GoPro, it does most definitely have a wide angle on it for sure. It's a little weird, but it's also very nice. But I would like to know for sure that you're being able to see this. Okay. All right. So the ears I'm going to put here, and then run them up on the wings a little bit, I think. Hopefully my friend Makoto will really like this little treat. So, there we go. It will take a month for him to get it, though. I sent him a package around Christmas time, and he just got it. He just got it. And, you know, the other thing that kind of flipped me out was that, you know, they made him open that stuff up at the post office. It's like, what? I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, what about privacy? God. Anyways, you know, we're really lucky in a lot of ways to be here in the U.S. Those of us that are. I'm just bringing a little depth into the ear by poking down like that, adding kind of like the hole for the ear, and then I'm just drawing this up a little bit to kind of define the ear a little bit like that. And just like the inside of your ear, it has you know, something going on in there. It's not just a flat piece of material. There we go. He's pretty cool. I like him. Okay, so so yeah, get online and look at pictures of gargoyles, man. It just to kind of get you tuned in and give you ideas and stuff. Don't worry about copying it. It's not likely that you're going to be able to copy anything. If you could copy something there, you know, really copy something, I mean, you need to reconsider your career as an artist, believe me, because you should be a professional artist, because it really takes a lot of skill to do that. Anyways, okay, so we got this. He's coming along. A couple things. If you're wondering, how could you, you know, maybe define the wings a little bit? You can put little ribs on the inside of the wings like this. Just keep on putting them on until you run out of space, and then I'll show you what to do next. So then what you can do is take a towel. I mean, a towel. I'm thinking about the towel that's under the camera to keep the noise down. I did another video, and it was making quite a bit of noise banging around. The speaker must be really good on it or something. But anyways, you just blend in around the ribs like that. There we go. And then once you've done that, you can also just take the tool and carve in these little connectors to the in between the ribs like that. And see, that would kind of add some interest to it. And we'll do the other side here, and I'm going to speed up the camera as okay, we're back now to regular speed, and you can see how that was done. And just now we can blend, keep blending and smoothing at this point. And you can add textures. I want to show you that as well. Before we do that, let's do a little accessory on the back of his head here. We're going to add a couple horns or something. Let's see what we can do. So and I'm just going to roll a noodle and bring it down from here between his ears. Bit just to add some depth to that. Put it on there and actually have it turn up a little bit. Like that. The original Guardian had a horn like that. Look it all from all directions so you can get an idea if it's straight and everything. And then we're gonna just add a little bit of a line in there. And there we go. You could sculpt them up a little bit on the pedestal. I unfortunately am running out of clay, so I probably couldn't do that for you. But one thing I can do is I can add a horn. And let's see here. So I'm going to roll a bit of a ball here, and I'm going to put a bit of a horn on the tail, on the tip of the tail. So I'm going to bring out the ends and creating basically a little triangle here, and then I'm going to just put kind of a sharp ridge around the top of it, and then going down to the ends. Just, and mostly you can see I'm just pinching it to obtain that shape, and then I'll put it up here, on the tail, and then gently press it into place so it doesn't damage the work that I just did to make it. And you can see it there. Press it down. Good. And there we go. It's coming along. I mean, it's pretty much there. He needs some work. I'll give you some ideas about things you could do. You could add scales to his body, if you wanted to, or you could add texture by stippling it like this. Scales would take probably a good bit of patience and time to go around and scale his body. But this is also a nice thing to do is to stipple the body. I'm going to show you what you can do with his feet too. But we go around, and I'm going to speed it up and stipple his body. Okay, so now we've got his body kind of stippled, which I think is nice. I like that. Now his feet are not really exposed that much, but a little bit of them are. So let me just show you how I would do. I do toes like this a lot on my dragons. I do a fair amount of dragons, by the way. I used to do a lot of gargoyles. Now I do a lot of dragons. And this is how I do it. It would be better if he was on a base, but basically I make a little toe, I bend it slightly, as you can see I did there, and then I just sculpt it in or blend it in, and then I make another one. And you know, depending on the creature, I might usually add 3 or 4 toes. So I got it, I made the little toe, I bend it a little bit so it's bent, and then I put it on. Let's see here. Yep, a little polymer clay is a little sticky, so sometimes you have to get used to it. So then I put it in place, and then I blend it in. And then I'll press it down a little bit without obscuring it too much. That's basically how I do it. Bend it, put it on, and blend it in. And then when you turn it to the side, you can see it actually works pretty good. It works pretty well. I've been doing it a long time like that. And you can add toenails by simply taking a small tool, like a paintbrush, for example, and just putting a little indentation here for each toenail. It's like that. And I'll do the back foot, and I'll speed it up and let you see me do the back foot. There we go. That's kind of how that is done, and then I'll just go ahead and add the toenails. Now, one thing you want to do after you've done all this, if you turn it around and look at the bottom, you'll see nothing is joined here. So you're going to have to take your time and go around and make sure that you blend these parts that are touching together. It might be better to do it with a tool because it might be kind of hard to do with your fingers. And just go around and get all these little areas so that it is bonded well. Because if you don't want this thing breaking apart, you want it to last a long time. So you just have to do that. And if you do that, after you cook it, it'll be pretty solid. Okay. Now, I have found that when you're finished with a piece and you're ready to do the finish, a lot of people will cook it first, but I don't think it's a great idea. I think it's a far better idea to do the finish. To do the finish before you cook it, because then the finish will be in it. So I want to show you. I want to do a bronze finish on this because I think it just will look really good. So I'm using. All right. This is Pearl-X pigments. It comes in a lot of different colors, and it's a pigment powder, and so it comes in different colors. And what I recommend is this color here, which is a metallic gold bronze color. And I call it bronze because I just have been for years. This is a little bit different. This actually is a metallic powder. It's not Pearl-X pigments, but you can find Pearl-X fairly readily, or another brand like it, and they do have these metallic colors, so you should be able to find it without any problem. And the way to do this, ideally, is with your finger. So like if we're doing the wings, we want to support the back of the wing with our fingers like that, with our hand, the way I'm holding that. You take your forefinger here, put it in the powder, it's on my finger. I swirl it just once or twice to kind of, make the powder a little more subdued. And then you just basically go over the sculpture, highlighting the high points. That's why I said I like to use black for my finishes, because black clay for my finishes, because it just seems to work better, and that's why I do that. So then I don't have to paint the piece or anything like that. And then when you cook it after the fact, after you've put the bronze or whatever, the pigments on the sculpture, it bakes in, and it will last a lot longer. It'll be a nicer finish, and it'll last a lot longer. So that's why I say, if you can do that, do it. So basically I just go around and do the whole sculpture that way. So I'm going to speed it up again, and you can watch me do that. Okay, so here we are again. And you can see it's pretty nice. I like the finish. I mean, it may not be your cup of tea, but that's what I like. And it really, I think it just looks great. I really like the way it looks. And I think, I think a lot of other people do actually. That horn is just wants to keep coming up. I keep on bumping into it. So now you can see the wings are kind of drooping a little bit. I'm gonna decide later how I want them, and then when I do the cooking, I'll make sure I brace them up really good so they don't fall down during cooking and end up all kind of misshapen. So that's important. Now let's talk about the cooking. Okay, so the cooking is, you first of all, I would appreciate it if you would go ahead and look at the packaging on the clay that you got, because you may not have gotten the right clay or the same clay I'm using, or who knows, just to be safe. If you have trouble finding, look online or whatever. Anyways, find out what the cooking temperature and everything is for the clay that you got, because it's not going to be the same for all polymer clays. Okay, and but they say for the Sculpt 3 that for every for every quarter inch of mass, it's going to be 15 minutes. Now there's a good bit of mass on this gargoyle. I mean, this is like 3 inches thick here, anyways. So if that was the case, it would be a very long time in the oven. So that's why I say you definitely want to research and make sure that's right, and that, you know, because you don't want to go through this and make all this and have it not work out for you. So that's really important. Okay, so that's basically it. For me, it's 275, 15 minutes for every quarter inch of mass. I'll be cooking this for a while, I guess. The other thing is, sign your gargoyle. Sign them somewhere on the face of the gargoyle. Ideally, not on the bottom. Okay? So it's important. These things are important. You're going to be an artist. You're going to be making something. You want your signature on it. So how would you do that? I'm going to show you. Okay? Because I want to show that to you too. So what I'm going to do is clear off a spot from the stippling here. Okay? I'm going to put it right there. And I'm going to take my tool, which I usually use for signing, and it's going to embed my name right into it. I'm just going to put it right here. I just do a little, nice little thing here. Polymer clay, by the way, it's going to last forever if it's cooked properly. And, you know, of course, if you don't drop it or whatever, it'll last a long time. You know, your name should be on it. That's what I say. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to work on these wings. I'm probably going to get them up here before I cook it. And as far as cooking it, I recommend a ceramic plate. Just set it on there and you're fine. You have to be careful of certain things because it will stick to other things like plastic and stuff like that. You don't want plastic. You want a ceramic, smooth, shiny, the shiny kind of finish on a plate. And use that to cook it on. And that's about it. So I hope you liked this little class. And my gargoyle here. And I hope you make a gargoyle and send me some pictures. Please send me some pictures and send me an email if you have any questions. Leave a comment, like the video if you like the video, and thank you for watching. Have a great day.